Hey guys, Thunderstud here, and today we are doing a generic Ancient Gear revisit. So I'm really looking over a bunch of cards, guys, just stockpiling ideas for meme May. And I come across stuff I still want to do, like a pure Ancient Gear revisit that probably isn't spicy enough or interesting enough. So I'm really just trying to get that out of the way. And this is a deck I've been meaning to go back to with Mystical Space Typhoon for a while because it's the pure Ancient Gear Town, and Mystical Space Typhoon really helps. It's like a double Cyclone you can use in way more situations. So obviously, unlike double Cyclone, it doesn't require your opponent to have a spell card too. You can just use it as a quick play. You could set it, use it later. You'll see that in replays. I use it on my opponent's turn to summon a reactor. Or you might not see it in replays, but yeah, you can do it on your opponent's turn to summon a reactor dragon in defense position or things like that. So all sorts of little tricks with Mystical Space Typhoon, and it's just a better card than Double Cyclone. It really is. So you can use it as just pure back row hate without destroying one of your cards, and obviously that's much better than Double Cyclone. We still have Galaxy Cyclone to hit our face down Gear Towns, and then in the graveyard hit our face up Gear Towns. And together, that's just a ton of back row hate, really. Then I do like Ancient Gear Reborn. If you have no monsters, you could special summon an Ancient Gear from your graveyard. I think it has a place in pure Ancient Gear decks when you're really just relying on these reactor dragons. I only run one. I search it with Wyvern. You gotta keep in mind, you search it with Wyvern, you can't set it, obviously, so it does make it a very slow card, but it's a comeback card anyway, and if you have a Wyvern on the field, you wouldn't be able to use it regardless. So it still has that synergy, still a very strong card, very, very easy. And then we have some Planet Pathfinders, just two, to get us a few more copies of Gear Town, essentially. And we are using our normal summon a little more often, but it still works out just fine when you have him. And then some Kiteroids to really just wait, let your opponent overextend. That way you can really take control of the field and hopefully finish the duel. You can get some Mexies off with Ancient Gear Reborn, but I've really just gone with Sin and Ouroboros to spam our 4s if we need it. It's not that consistent, you're making XCs. But Ancient Gears, obviously they're not meta, they're not going to be meta again, but they have certain decks they eat up. Like if you have a buddy who loves burn decks or something, you can eat them up. Anything with hand traps, it's really going to stop them. So it still has its own niches. But other than that, it's just Ancient Gear. Mystical Space Typhoon wouldn't bring it back entirely by itself, but it is a pretty cool tech. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for watching. Alright, here's a Dark Signer Colin Kessler. That's either Infernities, or Evil Eye, or it could be the ultimate one-card wonder. So it's a burn deck. We're going to have everything we need to beat him, even with 2 bricks in our hand, essentially. We're still going to take it to this one-card wonder. So he's got 3 cards now. He sets 2 of them. We're going to hit the money slot. It was a bluff with the chosen one, so not the money slot there, but we top deck another Galaxy Cyclone, hit another back row. It's a Rainbow Life. Bold of him to not use it, assuming we wouldn't have monsters, and we didn't. Now we're getting somewhere with him setting a monster and letting us do that. We get a top deck of a Planet Pathfinder. We're going to Galaxy Cyclone, a Hollow Life Barrier. Once again, doesn't use it. We get rid of our Planet Pathfinder for a Gear Town, play the Gear Town, destroy it with the Galaxy Cyclone we used last turn. Now here's a Reactor Dragon from the deck. We're going to swing over this monster. Guess what? He had a flip effect. Target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Obviously effects do not work against Reactor Dragons, so he's got to go back to more back row, and we get more back row hate. We top deck a Mystical Space Typhoon, hit a Battle Trap, use our Gear Castle. Even if he has hand traps, which I'm sure he did have some hand traps, they are useless against Reactor Dragon. Just everything this deck was doing was countering everything that deck was doing. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing an Odeon. Now, obviously, this is the kind of deck that's going to get eaten up by Ancient Gear. He's going to try to do a lot of back row, maybe some battle traps, some nonsense like that. We have a pretty good hand. We already have a Reactor Dragon and a Gear Town. We do use middle-aged mechs, so having a Reactor Dragon in our hand is not exactly a nightmare. Your opponent's going to do us a favor and show us this Skull Invitation, so now we know we don't have to aim for the middle. We can aim for something else with all these Mystical Space Typhoons. So we're going to hit one. I hit a Trap Monster, which means I'm probably going to use this second on his card instead of on my own Gear Town. We'll take the duel a little slower, but just have better control of the duel. So here, you get a cutscene, believe it or not, for this monster. It's still going to get destroyed by Mystical Space Typhoon. He takes some damage, I take some damage. I'm just going to go for it and hit the second card. Turns out to be a Battle Trap, I believe. It was Countergate. So we take even more damage. And now I can peck at him for my 2k. Now, I can bring out the Reactor Dragon next turn. I can tribute my own Wyvern. I can tribute this because I have Gear Town. We just play it, swing over him, and he's done for. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Yami Yugi going second. Poor boy, we're just denying a bunch of rank ups. So we have our return, that's pretty cool. We have a Gear Town, but nothing to really do with it. We do have a Kiteroid though, so we have some turns. We get a Pathfinder. We're going to set the Pathfinder because that does give us a tick on our middle-aged mechs. Now we have two. We're fighting Lunalights. So he's going to go into a Malevolent Sin. He's going to banish our Pathfinder. Try to hit us for some damage, but we're going to use our Kiteroid because why not? We know what he is now. And he's Lunalights. Being Lunalights, I'm sure you know Lunalights run tons of Kribo, tons of Temperance. So this guy probably has some hand traps. We're going to use Gear Town. Gear Town's going to let us take our, or we had enough on Ancient Castle to begin with, but let's say our Ancient Castle only had one, Gear Town would make it one less tribute. So here we get to swing over the Malevolent Sin with our Reactor Dragon. That's going to destroy Gear Town and bring out a Reactor Dragon. Now, one Reactor Dragon's not enough. I know he has hand traps. I'm going to feel him out with this Pathfinder. If he has hand traps, he has to use it with the Pathfinder. He can't use it on the Reactor Dragon because they ignore effects. I felt tons of delays. Every delay you could think of. Delay in every phase, then delay after the damage. Like he had a Veil. He had so much. He lets it go through though, and then you can't use any of it against the Reactor Dragon. So I am in gold rank as I tumble the ranks. And they may not have seen Reactor Dragon very often. He's a pretty old card at this point, so I don't know exactly what he does. He thinks his Kribo still has his back, and he gets OTK. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing Tori, going second. Okay. So, we're going Star Seraph, Scale, Tin Archduke, all that good stuff. Tin Archduke is a super random. You think you're going to see an Ouroboros, but Tin Archduke, okay. What he does, he can quick play detach and make you defense. So we're going to normal summon a Wyvern, search an Ancient Gear Reborn, and just call it a turn. He's probably not going to OTK us, so we should be fine. Now here, I don't understand whatsoever why you would flip him to defense. I don't get it. We're in gold. Who knows what he was thinking? We'll never know. But it's not a good move. So, Planet Pathfinder, we normal summon him. We're going to bring out our Gear Town. There we go. We're going to Galaxy Cyclone our Gear Town. That's going to give us a Reactor Dragon. Now he's going to use his Tin Archduke to flip our Reactor Dragon, and his Tin Archduke could have survived if he just kept him in attack position. But I'm not going to take it easy on him. Really all it did was delay the inevitable. We still eventually would have won over this Tin Archduke, but we're just going to win much faster as we destroy our last Gear Town. Neither of these boys can be hit by hand traps, so with nothing on the field, it is finally a guaranteed loss. But I'm going to surrender to him, so because I don't want to win, and he's a really bad player, so he needs to move up in ranks or something. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Carly Carmine, going second. She's using full Neos over there. We have a Gear Town, Mystical Space Typhoon, Planet Pathfinder, and a Wyvern, so I really like what we're doing here, and look who it is. My favorite of all decks to clap, Witchcrafters, and guess what? This is a fantastic deck to clap Witchcrafters. So anything that's clapping Witchcrafters, I'm all for it. Way to go, Ancient Gear. You just scored major points in my book. We're gonna Mystical Space Typhoon a Gear Town. Now she's shaking in her boots, sees that second Gear Town, and scoops. Love to do that against Witchcrafters. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Yami Yugi. Going first. Our boy's showing Power of the Dark. We have a Kite Roid, a Planet Pathfinder, Galaxy Cyclone. We've had like a Reactor Dragon like every replay. Like I said, it's not the end of the world. Here our opponent just sets one back row. So I'm gonna just go slow. Or no, I'm not. I'm gonna go quick. With the Gear Town, we're gonna just YOLO into that back row. Guess it could be a good idea. I'm gonna normal summon the Planet Pathfinder. Now we're gonna check him. I want to check the delay on the back row. I want to see if he has hand traps. It did feel like he had hand traps. So we're gonna hit him with the Reactor Dragon and just finish him off. Wearing gold, and I felt plenty of delays with Planet Pathfinder, and then no delays with Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, which means he had hand traps. The back row is nothing, he had hand traps. He doesn't know. Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon's gonna ignore your Kite Roid, he's gonna ignore your Karibos. He's in gold. Ancient Reactor Dragon is very old, so it's understandable, but that's the kind of thing when you revisit these old archetypes, guys. They still sucker punch people. We don't understand, so great stuff. And that's pretty much the role of Ancient Gear, though. They're not really going to run away with the meta. You're not going to pull them out to take out Blue Eyes. They just beat burn decks. They beat hand traps, things like that. So use them accordingly, and thanks for watching, guys.